Then returned the prophetess to her people, who, content with largesse, would stay in their wintry country. Tyrion spoke, as I know, her silken robes the fabric of Lyria's hand. Hail! The words of the goddess I herald unto her people. And have I heard from starlit lands in her woven grasp. Her way is east, that way which we must travel, for these frosty vales are not beautiful. Our cousins, we say unto you, be by our plight. We will go to the opposite ends of Alfaria, and be Dokafar content.
Welcome to Caer Elatha, mortal. We have not had visitors in a very long time. What do you seek? It is no accident that Caer Elatha is a place of great spiritual confluence. The crossing's flow of energy has influenced the landscape, shaped it as the ancients once did. It is a nexus of energies, a place where magic flows infinitely. There are few such places on Amalur, and the Keepers are tasked with protecting them. The Keepers live to prevent use of the crossing by either Fey Empire. Its power is such that both Summer and Winter Fey have agreed to leave its power unharnessed. Yes, I am Winter Fey and Halcyon is Summer Fey. That is the nature of the crossing. A representative from both courts remains here for balance. I always distrusted the Summer Fey, but it is difficult to distrust your only companion. Over the centuries, Halcyon and I have grown to rely on one another. Halcyon is my companion, and a revelation. I never in my lives spoke to a Summer Fey, yet now I see that Winter and Summer are not so different. Always dear Pura has stood vigil at the Circle of the Sun, awaiting the new Keepers to give them direction. It was she who led Halcyon and myself to the crossing when we first arrived in Amalur. I am quite skilled at sage crafting. It is one of my roles. I will aid you if you require it, to deal with the Narca curse. If Pura has given you the means to pass, then do so. You should seek out Halcyon. He will assist you in this. We Keepers routinely delve into the depths of Caer Elatha to make minute adjustments to the crossing, ensuring its power remains under control. Find the crossing, and Halcyon will undoubtedly be nearby. It is where the replacement keepers go to prepare for their work at the crossing. When it is time for them to assume their posts, they enter into combat with Purra, as you did. If they survive, she brings them here, as she did with us. She is the guardian of the Crown of the Sun, and a powerful sorceress. But you have defeated her. It is no wonder Florian and the others of the House of Valor have come to place their trust in you. Take caution in these lands, mortal. Your kind is particularly susceptible to its dangers.
You should feel privileged. The crossing is not a place of mortal business. You are the first to come this far. That essence of the Fellfire bloom is meant for the crossing, yes? To cure this region of the Narca curse. I will not allow it. Florian, in all his wisdom, does not see what I see. That the crossing is a solution to this long winter. No Fey empire has ever risen so. It is not the way of things. I have been using the power of the crossing to gradually tip the balance of magic in favor of the Summer Fey in Ulcerund, but this had unfortunate side effects. The crossing is tied to the magical essence of this land, and so are the Fey of this region. My tampering has driven them to madness. It is a necessary corruption. Better for a few of us to be mad than to wait for this long winter to end. I end you. Florian and the others cannot know what I have done. Not until I am finished and the long winter ended. Fare you well.
I see. Alcir's devotion to his king and court was more powerful than our friendship. That he would compromise his own kind to end the long winter is deeply unsettling. Perhaps, in the end, he'd become Narka himself. You have my thanks. Please, take these. They are imbued with Fey magic, and should aid you wherever you may go. The crossing has changed. I can feel it. But whether it undid the damage Halcyon inflicted remains to be seen. Return to Florian and report what transpired. I serve the Unseelie Court. I was chosen to guard the crossing as the winter representative, to watch over its power during the long winter. Take caution in these lands, mortal.
Change in the air. The taint of the Narka curse is rapidly dissipating. A shame it was caused by one of the Seelie's own. The Circle and I will take our leave. A small number of Narka will undoubtedly remain. We will reclaim our brethren and defeat what Narka are left. Thanks to you, perhaps Alcerund will recover from the Narka after all. Farewell, mortal.
Greetings, mortal.
horde of Fae is blocking the road towards the Canyon Hill mine. A horde work at Canyon Hill mine is stopped completely since the Fae took up residence.
Looks like I'm in luck. Didn't expect to see so heavily armed an adventurer wandering into our camp. Are you interested in a job? I've got a Fae beast situation I need taken care of. Excellent. A pack of wild Fae have holed up at the Canyon Hill site at the top of the ledge. I've already dispatched a scholar to investigate, but he hasn't returned. You'll find him near the road towards the mine. I'll have more information for you there, but it isn't useful for much else. The coward refuses to go near the Fae. Get to the site and figure out why those blasted things have come out of the mine, and then get rid of them. Speak to the scholar when the deed is done. He'll pay you. Our scholar, Answer, ought to be at the Canyon Hill site. Get into the bottom of this. He ought to be back already, telling me how he fixed it. If you do see him, give him a kick for me and tell him to get on with it. I've got miners just standing around not mining. Oh, where are my manners? Foreman Vire at your service. This here is Motus Mining's latest outfit, and my care and charge. If it weren't for the beast lurking at our doorstep every day, I'd find this place quaint. As it is, I can barely retain my sanity. Capstan Odvar runs an inn and serves as our chief of security. Our scholar, Answer, ought to be at the Canyon Hill site. Get into the bottom of this damn hold-up. He ought to be back already, telling me... If you do see him, give him a kick for me and tell him to get on with it. I've got... Capstan Odvar runs an inn and serves as our chief of security. A forsaken, wretched wasteland with more beasts than grains of sand. Still, by the domes of Odessa, I'll not see this venture fail. They're cowards, the whole lot of them. They came scurrying back, complaining about the passage to Canyon Hill site, blocked by Fae. Now they won't go near the eastern ledge and me without a single Praetorian to deal with them. Good day. Any sign of that worthless scholar? They were our biggest competition. Then they discovered this site, actually. When we caught wind of it, we made sure to get up here with a bag of gold for each of his workers. So they promised to work for us instead, of course. Work like a charm. Poor Edgar had never found a way to recover from that. There's no one else to run his mine. He probably couldn't find the money to pay them even if he found new staff. If I sound proud of us, it's 'cause I am. It was a big victory for Motus. I've seen some strange things. Flickers and flashes from the top of that mountain. No idea what causes it, and I don't want none. We've got our hands full down here as it is. He's a weak-eyed, knock-kneed, biscuit-biting excuse for a scholar. But he's the one I've got, so that's that. I've received reports of strange happenings in those caverns. One of the workers claimed he saw horrifically scarred men wandering near Saltwell Mouth. Good eve.
Sure, what's more dangerous? The Fae out in the desert, or the desert itself?
You look well armed. Aren't you here about the Croddock? We have a vicious one on our hands. It's about the desert, killing any workers it can catch. How in blazes it developed a taste for gnome flesh, only that damn thing knows. Confound it. Between the Canyon Hill incident and that beast, our schedule's ground to a halt. You got the picture. Don't know how the damned old thing got a taste for him, but once it gets an idea, there's no stopping it. We've put a price on its hide, but who'd be crazy enough to earn it? Well, you sure? All right, it's your funeral. You should speak to Edgar Aaron of Aaron Excavations. He'll know how to find Bloodbane. Edgar's lived in the Hollowlands longer than any of us. Speak to Edgar Aaron of Aaron's Excavations. He's been in the Hollowlands longer than any of us. He'll know how to find Bloodbane. I'll warn you, though, Edgar's bitter about Motus luring away his workers away with higher wages. He probably finds the situation ironic now that Bloodbane is attacking Dunehead Mine. Speak to Edgar Aaron of I'll warn you, though, Edgar's bitter about Motus luring away his work. He probably finds the situation ironic now that Bloodbane is attacked. Once word got out that Edgar Aaron had found this mineral-rich site, Motus rushed to get an operation set up here. I'm all the muscle they bothered to send. I'm the lone guard Motus hired to protect this place. They've given me a Chief of Security title, but that means nothing when I've got no men to command. Now we've got a Cruddock that's more than a match for a small army. I know better than to go out there alone. I've heard the rumors. They might be saints or bastards, but they've coin to spare, and that's enough for me. He's the foreman of the other mine here. He knows a thing or two about the Hollowlands. Been surveying this place long before Motus moved in. He ran Aaron Excavations until Motus hired his workers out from under him. It's tough, but that's business. I'm not sure what he's up to these days, but he hasn't left. Aaron Excavations? They're the other mining operation in the Hollowlands. Motus's only competition. Not particularly stiff competition, mind you. Especially since Motus wooed all of Aaron's miners with much high... They were the first mining operation here in the Hollowlands. Foreman by the name of Edgar Aaron. Rumor has it he spent every coin he had building his mine. When Motus moved in, they waved bags of gold in the faces of Aaron's workers. The next day, they all jumped ship. It's tragic, but... have separate rooms, but we've got beds upstairs. It'll cost you, though. We're the closest thing to an inn for leagues around us. Are you enjoying your stay? Those beds aren't luxurious, but they're better than sleeping on the ground. I've heard bizarre tales about those caves. The workers swear they've seen ghastly men, ravaged by some plague or foul magic, pacing round the entrances. Know it as well as my own calloused hand. That's why they pay me good gold to sit here. You won't find much on the surface here, but trapped below is the salvation of Odessa's future. We've the raw materials under our feet to equip entire armies, and that's why you'll find Motus Mining and, such as it is, Aaron Excavations digging here. No one knows what's at the top of Cloudcrest, but that don't stop folks speculating. I've heard the first Fae set foot in Amalur came from there. That'd explain why there are so many of them in Detir. We don't know where it got a taste for the gnome miners, but it's been terrorizing the Dunehead mine. Motus is offering a considerable bounty for its demise. Canyon Hill is up the eastern ledge. That's the one that spooked the miners. The Dunehead operation's hardly begun thanks to a vicious Cruddock. You look like you can take care of yourself, but you should be careful out there.
Always bring headwear. Lets the sun burn you down.
careful out in the sands.
Name's Alex. Alex Anatole. Let me know if you've got any equipment that needs repairing. I'll get it back to you as good as new. They're Motus Mining's only competition out here. They set up shop first, actually, but they're just about finished. When Motus moved in, they lured the errand workers with promise of higher wages. I hear the foreman, Edgar Aaron, is pretty bitter about it. He still hasn't left, though. Probably holding on to the hope he can get his business running again. It's a dangerous region, for sure. There are beasts out there just waiting to tear a gnome apart. The mining operations here have run into a real wall when it comes to the local wildlife. Take heed and learn from their hardship. Make sure you're well equipped, and don't hesitate to ask for repairs. Paying for adequate repairs will save your skin.
In ancient times, the desert had no shade. The sun burned the land to ruin. The rivers disappeared, and the animals hid underground. The people cried to Helios for mercy, but he didn't answer their prayers. As the plants withered in the heat, the hollow lands echoed with the crackle of fires.
I watch them day by day, their foolish, meddling scampering to separate one piece of earth from a slightly different piece of earth. Fae know that the land will endure, will heal any wounds mortals can inflict. But I worry that these wounds may be long to heal. I cannot act, I am bound by our beliefs. But an agent of change could cauterize these wounds by making the century plants bloom. Oh, I cannot make them bloom, not now. When the time is right, one Fey whisper will do. You mortals are not bound as we are. You can grow such things out of season. The century plants have deep ties to the pulse and marrow of the land. Their breath wakens the desert, causes the rocks to stir and grow. You wouldn't know with these little mortals here, but these lands are a Fey place, and Fey places need refreshing from time to time. The blooming of the century plants is the fastest route of recovery. True enough, but you could if you chose. I shepherd the surface while Orenda sleeps beneath. I await the day when I may lay down to rest as Orenda does, beneath the sands. The mortal's growing influence in this world wearies me. Have you met her? Fair and dark as the night itself. She'll sleep until my time is past. Then I will lie down and dream while she walks the sands. Normally they blossom only every 100 years. The land stirs and wakens, and what was worn away rejuvenates. That is the way of things. The little mortals, you mean? Forever cutting, clearing, digging, will they never stop? Won't they tire of it and go away? In ages past, we danced in circles on the dunes and sang sweet songs to the distant peaks. Now I alone walk here, while Arenda dreams in reverie below. For now, then.
Oh, I'm in a terrible bind. I don't dare go forward, and I certainly can't go back. Mind you, I wouldn't go up that eastern ledge. It's most unsafe. Yes, well, no. I got 10 paces up the slope when I spotted those Fae. What's a scholar to do against hordes of vicious beasts? One of those boggarts, it shook its fist at me. Yes, and find out what's wrong. Now that I've found it, and have no desire to investigate further. There were boggarts, lots of boggarts. And I think I saw a thresh. I was rather too busy running to note the particulars. Well, if you were willing to go first, I would have no objection to trailing behind, at a safe distance. To the Canyon Hill site at the top of the ledge, where a cadre of Fae awaits to rip us to shreds, no doubt. Scholar of Mineralogy, Motus Mining, and unwitting adventurer. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, I'm sure. Edessa could not have been built without the Motus Mining interest. Oh yes, our stalwart foreman. He sent you after me, I suppose. I've heard tales of terrifyingly scarred men appearing at the entrance of the caverns from time to time. I don't care why they're there, I just don't want them anywhere near me. It's a place of mystery and intrigue. No one knows what lurks at the top, though everyone's got a guess. Lead the way. Up the slope we go. There they are. Dispatch them before they attack me. The mining site's at the top, if we make it that far. I've yet to discover a reason for their presence. Let's keep going.
Mother, come to steal the light. Come to trouble the reverie. They are my friends, drawn here as I drift between the dream world and the world of the waking. The light, source of solace, snuck in, sharp knives, soft feet, stole the jewel from my side. Took it northward, through the narrow rocks, to their village of wood and cloth. The light took it northward, through... I long to return to the reverie. While Calavar walks the sands, I must sleep. He and I are two, where there once were many. We lived then wild on dune and crag. Now he watches the waking day, and I tend to the dreaming murmurs of the stone. When I became aware the light was gone, the shell of the reverie cracked, and my dream self wandered free. Long, long ago, I wandered lost in the dark of night. I cried a pool into a rocky basin, and starlight gathered there. I fashioned this into a jewel, and by its light found my way home. Is it any wonder that I hold it so dear?
It's beginning to make sense. This Fey maiden is real, but I believe we're speaking to a projection of her as she dreams. There is a Fey hollow under this mine, where I'll wager she sleeps. And these other Fey, they're drawn to the power of this projection. Restoring to her this light she speaks of might calm things down. Find me at the Motus mining office when you return it to her. I'll make sure you're duly compensated. Most likely return what was stolen to the Fey maid within the hollow. That is how these things tend to go. No, I feel quite certain. The maiden we see here is a projection of her dream self, as she calls it. The real Fey's asleep somewhere in the hollow below us, I'll wager. And these other wild Fey are drawn to the power she exudes while in this form.
Soft feet, sharp knives. No! Soft feet, sharp knives.
I cannot emphasize the importance. Of what you've done. Until goodbye.
The light! Return to me! Did you do this? The blessings of the thorn and shadow be upon your head, little mortal. Now leave me to the reverie, and the deep shadow and the far wind's sighs. I long to return to the reverie. While Calavar walks the sands, I must sleep. This is home, the place of power. I can feel the mortal's presence above, chipping away at the land. Calavar will not be pleased. Now I have the light, the reverie will be untroubled. Now leave me be, little one. Leave me be. Ah.
A Fey relic? Was that it? She called it a light. I wonder what possessed those fools to steal it. No matter. Facts are, without you, I'd still be tugging my beard at the bottom of that slope. So please have this. The interest rewards those who smooth its way. Foreman Vire? Head harder than a rock, and emptier than a mined-out stope. All this caused by a stolen jewel. Remarkable. As I've always said, there's no understanding Fey. All the same, we ought to have known we were digging right above a Fey hollow. Didn't seem important at the time, I suppose. Goodbye. Thank you for all you've done.
The same from Odessa every day. They want the minerals. Surely you've heard the name. Odessa's most powerful mineral. Dug the very stones Odessa was built on, and the gems that power her. Well, the Canyon Hill site's underway thanks to you. But for every step in this place, there's another stone to trip on. It's in worse shape than Canyon Hill. Some especially foul old cruduck's been prowling the sands, attacking my miners. Found a taste for gnome, it seems. That's what Capstan tells me, and I, generally speaking, leave these matters to him. Good day.
I'm not sure what's more dangerous.
Always bring headwear, lets the sun burn you down. Winds in the Hollowlands.
There's no work here for you, stranger. Check with Motis if you're looking for a job. You'll not find one with us. I've spent a lot of time here in the Hollowlands, living off the soil and the wildlife. I thought I'd finally made a living for myself when I discovered the mineral deposits here. Not sure what I'll do now that Motis has stolen my workers, but I'll think of something. Motis will get theirs someday. They call themselves a mining operation. They're more like a thieves' den. I was in the Hollowlands long before they ever set up shop. Once they got settled, they offered better wages to my workers. Every single one of them is working for Motis now. I couldn't compete with that kind of money. I hired a small army of gnomes to help me with the mine. Spent a lot of money transporting them here and gave them a good living. And the miserable bastards have the gall to leave me for Motis. I've lived in the Hollowlands for a time, seen lights and heard rumbles from the top that could have been the world's quietest storm, or very powerful magic. Mark my words, there's something happening up there. Capstan sent you my way, did he? Yes, I'm familiar with old Bloodbane. This Croddock is extremely protective of a particular pack of brownies. The surest way to draw it out of hiding is to attack those brownies. They help Bloodbane hunt, you see. I'll mark their territory on your map for you. Good luck. No one's been able to best the creature yet, and it would be unfortunate if you didn't make it back.
Another day in these wastes.
Move along.
You are my contact. I should have known. Punctuality is not one of your papal strengths, and you have so few. As Templar, the Forum demands that I do everything in my power to advance our knowledge. It is a tremendous responsibility, and one I take quite seriously. Formerus Hughes is one of my most brilliant scholars, and as you know, his research shows tremendous potential. His recovery is of paramount importance. His knowledge is invaluable, and must not fall into the wrong hands. And I'm terribly worried about your safety too, of course. That goes without saying. My fellow Templars and I sponsor research that will lead to the betterment of all mortals. Sadly, Alfar and man alike often have trouble accepting the reason behind our decisions. But most gnomes realize we have their best interests in mind. Edessa is the greatest bastion of knowledge and understanding in the world. As its gods, but our only commandments are the solid, predictable laws of natural science. You may recall our mutual friend, Formerus Hughes, the gnome who brought you back to life. I suspect you would, but I gather you've been quite busy. Well, Scholar Hughes has been missing since the attack on his tower. As his patron, I am quite concerned. I want you to find him. You are, how shall I say, uniquely suited to the task. Don't be obtuse. I am his patron. As such, I own everything that Scholar Hughes produces. I suppose that includes you as well. The secrets in his laboratories are meant for gnome eyes only. They must be controlled at any cost. I could ask the same question. For all I know, Formerus Hughes is on the run from you. I am willing to assume that's not the case. Simply put, you may be my only chance of locating Hughes, just as I may be yours. It would seem the incident in Alistar made Scholar Hughes a touch paranoid. Every time we receive a clue about his location, he vanishes before I can reach him. But he's running out of places to hide. It's my opinion that there's one hope left of finding Hughes. You. And I am grateful. Scholar Hughes is quite fortunate to have friends like us. Hughes has an old laboratory in the cavern of Saltwell Mines. I believe he's been conducting research there since the destruction of Alistar Tower. Find him, and you will be rewarded for your contribution to science. I will await your success in the Librarium in Edessa. He may have returned to his old laboratory in Saltwell Mines, but if any of my people approach, he'll flee. He's quite paranoid, for good reason.
Oh, it's you.
I've been hoping you'd come by. The miners report no sight or sound of Bloodbane since you ventured out into the desert. That means they can start work on the Dunehead site, and that you've earned your pay. Thank you for ridding us of that menace. If you hadn't happened along, who knows where we'd be? In whatever that thing calls a stomach, I suppose. You're welcome here any time, friend. Though there's not much to do but swing a pick at rocks. Aaron Excavations. They're the other mining outfit in the Hollowlands, our only competition. You look like you can take care of yourself, but you should be careful.
Oh, thank goodness you're here. It's my miners. They've gone deranged. Bless my beard. Just as both sites were coming back to full operation, the lunatics fled out into the desert. I tried to stop one of them and saw nothing but a blank stare and a strange light behind the fellow's eyes. He looked cursed. This is the work of that Fae, the one who sits atop the hill on the outskirts of town. If you can find that Fae and make him fix this, he'll be duly compensated. Damn right! There's no other explanation. He calls himself Calovar. Polite enough fellow, I suppose, but I've never trusted him. When we first got this operation up and running, he'd appear out of the sands every once in a while and try to convince us to move out. It's so obvious now. I'll bet he was behind the other problems as well. The Croddock, the attack on Canyon Hill, all of it reeks of Fae magic. Gulliver watches the mine from his perch on the hill to the south. You'll find him there. Didn't you hear me? They've gone soft in the head. Most ran off into the desert, some stayed in the mines. I tried to stop one of them and got nothing but a vacant stare, and I bet my beard that damn Fae had something to do with this. They had an ill aura about them as they ran off into the desert. What they were running from, I don't know. None of them made any sense. They were just yelling, saying things that weren't there. Nothing is going right.
Greetings, Martel. What are you here for, Martel? I'll not suffer another child of dust. I've had enough of your lot. Especially those of you calling yourselves Edgar Arryn. I lent him my relic when he asked for help extracting resources from the ground. I believed I was aiding a friend. But Edgar Arryn deviated from his purpose. The plight of Orenda and the attack of the Croddock on the mortal camp perplexed me. I know now that Edgar caused them with my relic. If you wish to free the mortals from their predicament, you must seek out Edgar Arryn and take back the relic. With it in hand, speak to the miners to break the spell. He has fled to his mine. If you truly wish to save the little mortals wandering the sands, you must retrieve my relic from him. You would do well to bring it back to me as well, when you have claimed it. It is a powerful relic, and could do much harm in the wrong hands. The Marshal and I made a verbal contract. I would give him use of my light to help him clear the wild Fae from his mine. In return, he agreed to gather his resources with my relic rather than the little mortal's methods, ripping and tearing at the land. He has instead shown his true quality, and now your miners are scattered to the winds. The Marshal and I made a in return. He agreed to gather his resources with my relic. He has instead shown his... I have heard mortals refer to it as a stone or a jewel. Vast oversimplifications, as children of dust are wont to make. It is my light, as Orenda's lantern is hers. Edgar Aaron asked to borrow mine to draw the minerals the mortals find so valuable. I thought him worthy of friendship, and thus gave it to him. Alas, he has deviated from his purpose. The Krennic attacks, the theft of Orenda's lamp, and now this. All of this petty sabotage is his doing, made possible by my relic. Farewell.
You found me, stranger. Been speaking to Calavar, have you? You've been putting out fires for Motus all over the place, I hear. What can I do for you this time? You've spoken to the Fae, I presume. I thought I saw you scaling that cliff. He wasn't lying. I wanted Motus gone. But I never meant to take it this far. If he'd just packed up his damn operation, nobody would have been harmed. I did. With this little stone Calavar gave me, simply thinking a thing makes a wild Fae do it. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep old Bloodbane from falling for your brownie bait. Calavar told me all about it, and how detrimental it would be if it were taken. Then I just had to tell a couple of gullible cutthroats about this incredibly valuable Fae relic buried in Shadowthorn Hollow. I did. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep it. How about I keep the stone and use it to sick my Fae friends on you? Kill this pest, boys! You found me, straight. What can I do for you this time? But I never meant to take it this... Unfortunately, I couldn't keep old blood... Then I just had to tell a couple... Perhaps there is merit in cooperating with you. You kill Croddock and spelunk Fae Hollows for a living, after all. But if Motus doesn't leave the Hollowlands, I'm finished. There's no turning back for me. Kill this pest, boys! This was all I could do to reclaim what once belonged to me. You understand? No! What can I do for you this time? But I never meant to take it this far. If you just... Unfortunately, I couldn't... Then I just had to tell a... But if Motus doesn't... Kill this pest, boys! No, please spare me. I was just trying to make a living here. Success should have been mine. I started my operation long before Motus ever arrived. My workers have abandoned me, and I haven't made a single coin from this place. This was all I could do to reclaim what once belonged to me. You understand, don't you? Fine, it's yours. Damn thing never did me any good anyway. I'm sure the Odessan Praetorians won't be far behind me now that the word's out. I won't be here when you return.
By the moon, where are these gazelles coming from? What was I saying?
Reginald, what do we do? The house is aflame! The house is aflame! What? Oh, where is this? By my beard, how did I get so far into the desert?
Then the winged Saina, the mediator of earth and sky, came from Ashara. She beheld the suffering desert and swooped down upon the hollow lands. Her feathers shaded the scorching sands. Her wings cooled the broken ground. Her tears fell to the dust, where rivers were born.
Where do you think you're going with my pickaxe, you wretch? No. Where is this? I promise this is the last time I partake in Datrian ale.
I've never noticed how close the ground is to the sky. I mean, I do now. It's a mistake I'll never make again. Wait, what was I saying? Oh, dear me, I have to go.
I could swear there was a lake here a moment ago. What? What happened? What in blazes is this?
The land flourished under her gentle plumes. As life returned to the burnt expanse, the people crawled from their caves and saw a majestic silhouette against the open sky. They praised Saina and worshipped her likeness. She replied with a call that still echoes on the wind.
Well, it looks like everyone's back or on their way. We're in your debt once more. Edgar's facilities are vacant now. They're yours if you want them. They were never particularly profitable once his miners left him. But in the right hands, a few of the miners feel so indebted to you, they'd like to work there for you if you'll have them. You should visit the mine when you have a chance. Good eve. The same from Odessa every day. They want... Good eve.
I shall relieve you of the relic. For a mortal, you are remarkable. I can see something lingering in your eyes, something fey. It is both fascinating and perplexing. But, as you mortals say, the dust has settled. This region was on the verge of catastrophe, thanks to Edgar Aaron. It was fortunate you were here to stop him. For now then. What are needed are century plants. Yes, they must... Oh, I can... You mortals are not bound as we are. You, a friend of the sands. You'll do what needs doing. You will need petrichor. Here's a skinful I have gathered. But first, you must ready the plant with fire. Only after fire will they drink the petrichor. There are 3 century plants in this land just now. Make all 3 bloom, and all will be well. For each of the 3 upon the sands, scorch it with fire, then slake it with the petrichor I gave you. Farewell. Those little mortals are the smell of the earth after rain. I have gathered it over years in that skin. Farewell.
Helios heard the call, and looking down upon the desert, grew irritated. His mighty works were undone, and his brilliance spurned. He called Vreka to his side, and implored the fiery god to strike Saina from the skies. Vreka agreed, but as Saina was too strong, he asked Helios to lend him some of his fire as well. So Helios gave Vreka the flames of the sun.
can smell them on the dry winds. Your eyes may not see the natural decay, but I assure you, it is there. The little meddlers may do their worst. The Hollowlands will endure it and mend the wounds they make. Farewell. Do you now smell it? The savory musk of the heated sun. Farewell.
Welcome. The Motus miners have told me all about you. I'm Vincent Helvern, Edgar Erin's former assistant and facilities manager. I'll continue to run the mining office for you, if you'll allow it. Come and go as you please, the building is yours to use. And if it doesn't suit your tastes, with some spare coin, I can arrange for renovations. I locked myself in here while Edgar was hatching his schemes. I knew it would come to violence at some point. He was hell-bent on getting even with Motus. Anyhow, what's past is past. You need a manager for this building while you're away, and I'll do it for a small fraction of what you earn. Speak to me if you want work done on this building, or if you'd like to collect a profit. Beastly creatures stalk near those caverns. They're not fey, and they're definitely not natural. You could pay me enough to get close to there. I wish it were somewhere far from here. The Hollowlands are dangerous enough without them. The Motus miners feel indebted to you. They've offered to work your mine, for a sliver of your overall profit, of course. Yet another place of mystery that I'd rather be much farther away from. The Hollowlands are death trap enough as it is. Sorry, boss, we haven't yet sold off what we've produced. Check back later and I'll have your money. If you have enough gold, I can clean this place up and furnish it with goods from across the land. I'll get right to work. It'll look brand new before you know it. I can't believe old Edgar had been causing all this trouble in the area. People died on account of him. Sad. Good luck out there. Hail, adventurer. Hail, friend. The gnomes at Modus Mining mentioned you'd be opening a mining site here. That's all well and good, but I can help you make the most of it. For a small sum, I'll renovate this mine for you, make it bigger. In the long run, you'll earn more money out of it. What do you say? That's me, Master Architect at your service. Your friends at Modus Mining sent word to me that they were helping you open a site here. For a little bit of gold, I'll help you get this dump running more efficiently than Edgar Aaron ever managed to. There are bad goings on at the caverns. The miners have all, one time or another, seen wretched, scarred creatures that walk on two legs pacing at the entrance. No one I know of has scaled it all the way, so there's no knowing for heard everything, sometimes in the same breath. No one I know of has scaled it all the way, so there's no knowing for sure what's up there. Heard everything, from it's the home of a powerful mage, to it's the cradle of civilization itself. Sometimes in the same breath. There's an adventure to be had at Cloudcrest's Peak, I'm sure. If you give me the gold, I can start clearing out one of the collapsed passages in the mine. I'll start cleaning out the passage right away. Who knows what we'll uncover in there?
World hero. Your mine is in...
I heard Enser and some hired hand chase those Fey away.
That fetid Crodicus go out into the world and explore.
These lands are treacherous, but if there's money to be made...